Hello, everybody. Hello, we're coming to you live from San Diego, California. It's a gorgeous day here. Tell us about your day, where you are right now. What is your name? Where are you watching us from? I'm Donna, and this is the woman most of you want to see, my mama, Donna Eden. We have been live streaming since Sunday. We're sharing with you the power of Eden Energy Medicine. We're sharing with you techniques, things you can do to be empowered in your life. And we have another segment right now that we think you're gonna love. So tell us who you are. Let's see who you are and say hello to us. Let me start by talking a little bit about the live stream yesterday. So yesterday we talked about the electrics, and the electrics is a system. It's an energy system in the body that works with the nervous system. So we're going to just touch on the electrics a little bit from yesterday. Mom said, oh, there was something more I wanted to say. So we'll say that today. And then we're going to go into this really exciting technique, protocol called the Vivaxin or the Vivaxis. And hello, John Martin and Teresa Grisanti. So happy you're with us. It's a beautiful day, and we're going to talk about the Vivaxin or Vivaxis. And it's really, really interesting if you've never heard about it. Mom will talk more about it. We'll show you how the technique works, but it's basically the position that you were born in. What position were you born in when you came out of your mama, and how that impacts your life and can impact your life for a long, long time. Hello, Claire, again from Scotland. We love Scotland. Scotland's in the house. Hello, Maria. Sherry, hi, Sherry from New Jersey. So I am going to scooch back to Mom, and she's going to really project over the birds. We have some beautiful birds singing, and we have parrots that come over every day. So we're going to make sure you hear us. Mom's going to touch on the electrics, and then we'll talk about the Vivaxin. And hello, Kara and Dana from Australia, and hello from Sweden, Maria, and Peggy is from Devon. Hello to all of you. All right, Mom, it's all yours.
Okay, well, I just wanted to share something very important about the electrics. And I can tell you that all my students, teachers have different stories of something that surprised them that the electrics affected in their body in a positive way. But I'm going to tell you my story. I used to have really strong PMS. And in between, wow, this is really personal, but in between babies, I had to have an operation to be able to carry babies. So that's how we got Dondi, because she was his second baby. But and so the scar tissue from that operation, I never had any idea that could have any effect on my PMS. And when I had a student many years ago hold my electrics just so that she could feel it and do it on me, and what happened is it just burned through my scar tissue and took away my scar tissue, and I never had PMS as bad again.
That's incredible. I think that's incredible. And that's from the electrics. This is this energy system that we talked about yesterday. And by the way, you can see all of our live streams. They're all posted at Eden Energy Medicine Programs page. So Mom was just touching on the electrics and how it helped her, and you can learn more if you go back to that live stream from yesterday. And guess what? If you join us in year 1 of our program, which is called Foundations, you'll learn all about the electrics and all about Vivaxin or Vivaxis, and that's what we're focused on today. So I want to tell a little story about the Vivaxin. And Vivaxin affects people in different ways. It impacts health and emotions and your mental peace of mind. But a woman wrote us from the UK and told us how it affected her husband. And I thought this was so interesting because you know what? You come into Eden Energy Medicine and you never know what's going to happen when you open up your energies, when you start communicating with your body and what can happen. So this woman in the UK went through year 1 of our program and she learned about the Vivaxin or Vivaxis. And she went home to her husband and she said, I want to do this Vivaxin protocol on you. And he was like, oh, okay, I'm game because you love this work, I'll do it. Well, beside the point, he had had dyslexia his whole life. Now, that's not what they were thinking about when they were doing the Vivaxin. He was just going to help her out by her practicing this protocol. Well, after she did the Vivaxin on him, it helped his dyslexia so much that he was able to teach himself Spanish in one summer. He had never done anything like that before. If you have dyslexia, you know how limiting it is and how frustrating it is to write your words backwards, and that's speaking in your native language, or to say something backwards, or not be able to understand numbers. He taught himself Spanish in one summer. But not only that, he was a swimmer and he loved the water, and he had never been able to swim backwards. Another thing that can sound kind of silly, swimming backwards. Well, if you're a swimmer and you love the water and you can't swim backwards, that's really limiting and frustrating and sad. When his Vivaxin was done, he could suddenly swim backwards. So we're going to talk about Vivaxin, and I want to say hello to a couple of people because Laura Gilligan is watching us, and Kathleen Loso, and Marilyn, and Malik, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, and Sonia, and Helen Brecker. Hello, Helen, we love you, our friend in New York. So thank you for watching. I'm going to go scooch back to Mom again, and we're going to talk about Vivaxin.
Okay, well, first I want to tell you that the Vivaxin syndrome was discovered by a woman, a scientist, in 1960, Frances Nixon. And but even though she discovered it, I want to say that every major culture in the world has understood it. In ancient cultures, and still many cultures today, in Fiji, in Africa, they do not name a child, a baby, until the baby is about 3 months old, because they know it takes time for a baby to get used to the Earth's atmosphere. And so there's something magical and scientific at the same time that happens to a baby when the baby is born. Right before the baby is born, an energy, a magnetic field surrounds the baby like an invisible spacesuit, so that you could be on Mars in your spacesuit. Well, a baby who has been 9 months in utero, you can't just go from that to planet Earth. It's too much a shock on their system. But if this Vivaxin syndrome is placed around the baby, it's just an energy field that's magnetized, and the baby is protected for 3 months. For 3 months, and very slowly the baby gets more acclimated to the Earth. And that's a beautiful thing. So even if the birth was very traumatic, it is not nearly as traumatic if that protective field is around the baby. Okay, well, here's what happens. Oh, and we lived in Fiji for a time, and at 3 months they'd have this ceremony to name the baby, and their healers there knew how to check to see if the Vivaxin syndrome had left. But anyway, what happens to a lot of people, for whatever reason, the Vivaxin doesn't automatically leave them. And it should, because then you don't want a magnetic field around your body for the rest of your life that prevents you from your senses sensing things as well, or picking up things. I'm going to give you an example. I had, many years ago, I had a practice for a long, long time, maybe 25 years, and a man came to me who was an architect, and he said, I don't know what's happened to me. I've always been so creative and amazing, and I designed that building over there, and da-da-da. And he said, and it's gone. All my creativity is gone, and I don't feel good either. And I checked him out and everything, and I couldn't figure it out. And so I said, so he came again. I said, let's go over to see where you work. Let me see what the energy there is. And we went over to his building, and I looked and I saw that he was facing the direction of his Vivaxin. And I said, well, let me show you. And we turned him in a little circle that I'm going to do on Donna in a minute. And if you still have that syndrome, there will be one direction that you are weak in. And his desk, everything was lined up in the direction of his weakness. And so all he had to do was turn put the desk somewhere else, but he also came back just to clear his Vivaxin. But I've seen so many stories of mothers, of women who came to me who had several children, and she thought her children were wearing her out. But it was that her kitchen sink, her stove, her dishwasher, and at the other end was the table where everybody sat, was all in the direction of her Vivaxin, which was, it just weakened her. It weakened her. And so if you fix your Vivaxin, you can put things in any direction you want. So would you like us to do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so here's what you do. I'm going to energy test Donna with 2 arms. Both of her arms are coming out, and I'm just going to put my open hand just behind her wrist and test her. She's strong. Now, Donna, I want you to put your feet a little bit closer together. Right. Now we're going to make a little circle. I'm going to go like this. And we're just going to see if she weakens in any direction. And since I'm the mom, I hope she doesn't, because I should have fixed this at birth.
And you should know Mom is pushing down quite hard on my arms, and I'm resisting.
Yeah. Oh, good, Donna. This is very good. Now, now I'm going to show you. All right, this is where we started.
Yeah.
All right, but if she's strong, she does not have a syndrome. But if she did, say that this is one direction, and suddenly her arms would go down in the direction. And if you energy tested everything in her body, you'd see that everything was weakened in this direction. I'll tell you one person many, many years ago it turned out that everything was weak in this direction, but kidney meridian was ultra messed up. I mean, it was weakened. It was kind of, the energies were frozen, and some of the acupuncture points were lost underground. And when we straightened that out, I mean, he had been going to dialysis and was on a waiting list for a new kidney, and he didn't have to do it. So, I mean, it kind of shocks you, because you never know how it'll affect you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. So let me tell you, did you want to say anything?
Yes.
Okay.
Would you like to know what I do for you?
Yes, tell me what you do for me.
Okay. Here it is. It's very simple. You'd learn all of this, but what you do is, I won't go through it
Stand
all.
a little closer there so they can see.
Okay. This little tiny magnet on a string that spins, I would spin the end of her meridians. Just put your fingers out. I would spin at the end of her meridians, all of them.
And meridians are just pathways on the body, which you would learn all about in the first year of our program.
And they are also where all your acupuncture points are on. So I would do that at the ends of her fingers, at the ends of her toes, up here on her face there's a few places. So wherever the meridian ends or begins, I would spin it. And then I would find out, I would energy test her again, pretend now. And now I'd find her very, very strong. Okay, so it's a simple thing to fix, and it's a real valuable thing to fix.
And you also learn a lot about magnets in our program, especially working with pain. I remember, Mom, this was probably 2 years ago, and we were in England, and Mom had walked into a hole in the street, actually in Los Angeles, right when we were flying to England. We were just strolling along talking, and she walked into a hole and she broke part of her foot. Well, doctors, we went to the emergency room. We were scared about what that might mean, because we were leaving for England for this big teaching tour. Doctors said it's really shattered. It's going to take months to heal. You need crutches. In Europe, you're going to need to be in a wheelchair, no pressure on it. Well, we got to England and Mom pulled out her magnets. Sure enough, they took her pain away. And I think you healed in about 3 weeks.
I healed so fast. I was
about 3 weeks.
And I taught all the classes with no problem, and I didn't have pain.
Yeah. So these are all things you would learn in year one of our program, and those classes are opening now. So we've talked about energy testing this week, we've talked about electrics, we've talked about Vivaxin and magnets, and it's so easy to learn, and you would have all these tools in your life.
Yes.
Do you want to say anything else before I tell them about the classes?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you about some classes coming up and get real close in here and see who else is with us. Nurture Your Energy is with us. Barbara Towner, hello Barbara. Edwin, Marie Adams in Sweden, she's probably in Colorado right now. Malik, Katrine, thank you so much for being with us. We have a lot of classes opening up. And let me tell you about these classes. They're so special. They are in person, they are not online, and they're held all over the world. We have 61 classes opening within the next couple of months. And I'm just going to tell you a few that are opening between May 30th and June 20th. We have Minneapolis, Minnesota with Marsha Rowland. San Francisco, 2 teachers, so you get 2 teachers for the price of 1. Alice Attaboy and Ling Chen. Another class with 2 teachers, Saratoga Springs, New York, with Susan Shanley and Ann Deatley, 2 for the price of 1. It's really fun to have co-teachers. Susie Snyder in Wilmington, North Carolina, Susan Stone in Lolo, Montana, João Pestana in Faro, Portugal, in Algarve. I think that's how you say it. And boy, if you go look up pictures of this place, it is astoundingly beautiful. Yes. Go over to Portugal and study with one of our men who teaches Eden Energy Medicine and João Pestana. We have Marion Bergen in Dalton, Massachusetts, Julie Lappin in Orlando, Florida, Julie Fowler in Westwood, Massachusetts. I know that probably one of those classes are near you, but remember, these aren't the only classes. There are more, and to find out, you can go to foundations.innersource.net. InnerSource is spelled INNERSOURCE, foundations.innersource.net. They're intimate, small classes. Your teacher becomes your mentor through a real journey, a year-long journey of becoming vital and healthy and figuring out what's happening in your body. They are fabulous classes. And Susan Berry is saying Foundations is a game and life changer, and you deserve it. We have Brittany, we have Marianne, we have Kelmy Blake who's posting that link for you right now. Thank you everybody for being with us. Tomorrow is our last day of live streaming. We're going to bring you more techniques. We're going to teach you some more protocols that you'll learn in year one if you join us. And we will be here at noon Pacific, 12 noon Pacific. We come onto the Eden Energy Medicine programs page. We thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much. And will I see them tomorrow?
You will.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Mom is going to be here. I'll make sure of it. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you.